Go ahead. Good afternoon. We'll call to order the meeting of the New Ulm Public Utilities Commission for the month of May 2020. The first item on the agenda is to receive an order filed, or to consider receiving an order filed public notice regarding this meeting, which will be held via teleconference. Someone want to make a motion to receive an order filed that notice?
I'll make a motion to receive an order for the notice that the Public Utilities Commission will be conducting this meeting via teleconference. And the rest of it is there as well?
Yes, so is your, so that the teleconference is authorized by Minnesota Statute Section 13D.021, and the purpose of the teleconference is the circumstances of COVID-19 virus issues.
Yep. Okay.
Second.
Any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, we'll be calling the roll today for all of our votes because we have two commissioners not present.
Commissioner Fingland?
Yes.
Commissioner Hillesheim?
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis?
Yes.
Commissioner Visser?
Yes.
And Commissioner Heine?
Yes. Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is to consider approving our minutes from the last regular meeting, which was on April 28th, 2020.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting held April 28th, 2020.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion on the motion to approve the minutes from the April 28th, 2020 regular meeting? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Fingland?
Yes.
Commissioner Hillesheim?
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis?
Yes.
Commissioner Visser?
Yes.
And Commissioner Heine?
Yes. Motion carries. The next item is to receive our report for the utility operations for the month.
Commissioners, I don't have many comments. The only thing I did want to point out under the engineering section was that the research and development of the sewer service policy is ongoing. So that was an issue that we had talked about in a work session, and that'll be coming to the commission meeting at a future date. So I just wanted to make mention that we are working on that. Otherwise, if you have any questions having to do with the report, I can certainly answer them.
No, I'll make a motion to receive an order filed the report regarding the monthly utility operations.
Second.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we can call the roll.
Commissioner Fingland?
Yes.
Commissioner Hillesheim?
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis?
Yes.
Commissioner Visser?
Yes.
And Commissioner Heine?
Yes, motion carries. Maybe I should just ask, Nicole, is it important for us to verify who's seconding the motion since we're...
I am recording it that way since I can, well, for so far I've been able to see.
Right.
But
There must be a little bit of a lag because I think the Commissioner Fingland and Commissioner Hillesheim are sometimes seconding after someone already has in the room. So maybe I should identify who's seconding the motion for the minutes. We'll try it.
we can try it, yeah.
Okay. All right. Next item on the agenda is to honor our Employee of the Month.
Yes, our Employee of the Month is Aaron Duchesne. He is a water steam operator in the Water Steam Department. He is Employee of the Month for April 2020. He has been employed with the utilities since September 2014. He's very knowledgeable and a capable worker. He has filled in for the operations chief during a co-worker's medical leave. Aaron's attention to detail concerning the proper operation of the water treatment plant is commendable. He has shown the ability and the willingness to communicate with the Minnesota Department of Health District Engineer for this area concerning upcoming sampling plans and schedules. He has a good work ethic and endeavors to have a good working relationship with his coworkers. So congratulations to Aaron Duchesne.
Yes, thank you, Aaron. Do we have a motion to honor Aaron as our Employee of the Month?
I'll make
I'll offer the motion to recognize Aaron Duchesne, Water Steam Operator B in the Water Steam Department as Employee of the Month for April 2020.
I'll second.
Okay, so the motion was by Commissioner Hillisheim and the second by Commissioner Fingland. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Fingland,
Yes.
Commissioner Hillesheim,
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis,
Yes.
Commissioner Visser,
Yes.
and Commissioner Heine.
Yes. Motion carried. Next, under old business, we going to revisit the issue at the 6 South Street address.
Yes, Commissioners. Just as a bit of background, there was an emergency sewer service that was repaired on 6 South Street. And the house was located on the back half of a divided lot between State and Washington with the sewer main on Washington Street. That sewer service was installed to South Washington Street, and it was a length of approximately 275 feet. So now the sewer service is in the middle of the street, which required the bituminous to be cut open and some curb and sidewalk by the house needed to be removed. Currently, the PUC Regulation 601 reads that the sewer service to the main is the responsibility of the property owner. At the March 24th, 2020 meeting, the property owner, Jennifer Wallach, came with a presentation and also 2 requests of the city and the PUC. The first request was to educate the homeowners to this issue, and the second was to consider paving on the 6th Street South after the repair of the sewer service. We had a working session to go over some of the details. There were some issues that we considered important to recognize, and out of the work session, a recommendation was made to prepare a frequently asked question sheet. This would be addressing the educating of the homeowners, and it basically would be a sheet that would have questions with answers that a homeowner might be aware of or want to ask when they're purchasing a property. So we have started gathering this information, and we'll present it at a future date if the commission approves us to do so. The second issue was a request by Jennifer Wallach to pave the 6th Street South since the sewer repair had been done. She was asking for the city to pave that. After some discussion, with regards to the fact that the city of New Ulm can't use taxpayer dollars really to contribute to the improvement of a private residence. The New Ulm Public Utilities doesn't have a paving crew, so we would have to go out and hire someone to do that between a cost of about $7,100 to $7,800. It was recognized also that there are insurance companies that are available for homeowners to protect them from this, or actually offer or help pay for it. And I did go out and call other communities that had similar situations, and in all of the ones that responded to me, they indicated that the responsibility of the sewer service in their cities was also from the house to the sewer main. And I guess one of the big issues, too, was setting a precedent and the fairness of providing paving service to one homeowner and not the other. And so because of that, we are suggesting that to deny the paving of 6th Street South due to the repair of a privately owned sewer service. So if you have any questions or need anything clarified, I can certainly do that for you.
Does the homeowner know that was our tentative decision?
She did contact us, and an email was sent out basically saying that although it had not been approved, this was the way that that we believe that the commission was leaning.
Based on our discussions at
Yes.
the, yeah, okay.
And the indications of what was talked about here.
I'll make the motion to approve the creation of a frequently asked question sheet for potential homeowners regarding city functions and also deny the paving of 6th Street South due to the repair of a privately owned sewer service.
I'll second.
So the motion was by Commissioner Shaunis and second by Commissioner Visser. Can you think of any reason why we wouldn't want to handle those in two separate motions? They can be combined.
I think they can be combined.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we can call the roll.
Commissioner Fingland,
Yes.
Commissioner Hillersheim,
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis,
Yes.
Commissioner Visser,
Yes.
and Commissioner Heine.
Yes.
I suppose if someone wanted to vote yes on one and not the other, but
That
since
would've
it's
been a
yes
problem.
on both, I suppose we can come back on this.
There was no discussion, so I assume that that would have been brought up. Commissioner Fengland, did you have a comment?
Nope.
Okay. Moving on to new business, we now want to honor Joel Getz's years of service to the Public Utilities Commission, who's apparently retiring.
Yes, Joel Goltz has been with the New Ulm Public Utilities Commission for 7 years. He has been a boiler operator in the electric production department. He has served the New Ulm Public Utilities Commission from November 13th, 2012 to April 15th, 2020. So congratulations to Joel Goltz.
Yep, I'll make a motion to offer the resolution and waive the reading commending Joel Goltz for 7 years of service with the New Ulm Public Utilities Commission.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Visser and a second by Commissioner Hillesheim. Any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, we can call the roll.
Commissioner Fingland,
Yes.
Commissioner Hillersheim,
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis,
Yes.
Commissioner Visser,
Yes.
and Commissioner Heine.
Yes. Resolution passed. Next is to consider deferred payment for unpaid utility bills.
Okay, Commissioners, on March 24th, 2020, the Commission authorized the public utilities to waive the penalties and suspend disconnection to our residential and commercial customers until April 30th, 2020. This is due to the declaration of the COVID-19 peacetime emergency. At the April 28th, 2020 Commission meeting, this was extended to June 30th, 2020. So with the disconnection, we feel that it's important to have a reconnection or repayment policy in place once the payment deferment has ended. So we have some recommendations for that. We are not necessarily asking for approval of the total program. We basically want to let you know that we're looking at this, we're putting together the policy, and the final procedure would be brought back to you at a future date. What we're looking at is that the suspension policy basically will conform with the COVID-19 peacetime emergency that has been issued by Governor Walz. The disconnection policies would be reinstated at the end of the month following the end of the COVID-19 peacetime emergency. The repayment of the deferred utilities would commence approximately 30 days after the peacetime emergency has ended, taking into consideration the New Ulm Public Utilities billing cycle. That's mainly if the peacetime emergency would end on the 13th, it would be the next billing cycle. Utility holders would need to sign a repayment agreement within that 30 days after the peacetime emergency has ended, or the total utility bill then would be put on the bill if they have not come in and signed a repayment agreement. At that time, amortization schedule would then be calculated, and it would provide the amount of the deferred payment that would need to be paid each month, and the term would not exceed 12 months from the end of the peacetime emergency. Disconnection policies and late payment penalties would apply to the current utility bills 30 days after the peacetime emergency has ended, and the failure to follow the terms of the repayment agreement would be subject to the normal disconnection policies set forth in the New Ulm Public Utilities regulation. So this is a preliminary outline of the deferred payment plan that we have put together. Minnesota Municipal Utilities Association right now is in discussions with the Minnesota Department of Commerce, asking for some guidelines and some recommendation as to how to deal with unpaid utilities bills, because across the state, other utilities have been doing the same thing, suspending disconnects and late payments. So everybody's going to kind of be in the same boat. So there's also been a survey of other Minnesota utilities that's underway to kind of see how they're handling it too. So we kind of want to have a unified front as much as we can. There'll be some differences, but we will be working with MMUA to figure out what the Department of Commerce really is looking for, and at that point implement what we've kind of decided here and bring back a final procedure for the Commission's approval.
I think it would be really important for us to publish that information as well. I mean,
Okay.
if I'm a business owner or a homeowner and I'm thinking about which bills I'm gonna juggle, part of that analysis might be, I might choose to pay my utility bill if I could choose a different option, thinking that the repayment terms might be difficult later. So
Sure.
I think it would be great if we get that done. And
Yeah, I'm sure that we could certainly put it on our webpage, and also probably through other organizations in New Ulm. I'm not sure, maybe a stuffer.
We talked about maybe doing a stuffer, probably not with the bills, but with some of the late notices that go out, so it's hitting those customers and not every customer is getting
Right.
that same direct information, but.
Yep, sure.
My only concern about this is that it's the end of the month following the end of the peacetime emergency. We have no idea. I mean, is that going to, it could be a year, 2 years. Do we have the revenue to keep doing that?
Well, eventually we'll get paid. I mean, and we have reserves in place. I'm assuming, well, we're all assuming that this is going to probably end. He'll end the peacetime emergency at some point within this year. We certainly can come back and look at it if it's getting out further than what we want it to. But right now, the Department of Commerce, from what I've understood, is they're looking at utilities to do exactly this, to allow people, because people, until people get back to work, until businesses get opening at 100%, they want to have some type of comfort for people. So,
My other concern was
Chris?
that. Oh, go ahead.
Oh.
yeah, yes.
I was gonna say, has this 147, has that number, has that grown faster in the last month or two, or is that of your number of customers? Is it, as time goes on, is that number like almost exponentially getting bigger, or is it just, are they slowly adding to that number?
You know, we've only really done 2 cutoffs right now. I believe last month it was at 120, and now it's at 147. And then, you know, and I'm sorry, I didn't indicate that. You know, we do have 147 commercial and residential customers that have suspended disconnection. And so 57% of those 147 were in arrears 2 months or more. So we do have some, but of this 109,000, it also includes people that are continually on our cutoff list.
Okay.
And so there's, you know, there is a potential that we would not collect all of the $109,000. But I think that the Department of Commerce is looking for utilities. What they want to see is that utilities are doing something. If they see that utilities are not doing something, they're going to mandate us to do it. And so that's kind of where the Minnesota Municipal Association got involved, is to make sure we've been communicating with the Department of Commerce, letting them know what we're doing, how we're handling things, so that we don't potentially have a mandate from the legislature.
Commissioner Hillesheimer Finland, did you have any comments?
No, you responded to what the question I was going to ask.
Okay. And to be clear,
I don't either.
Oh, sorry. And the request right now is to approve the creation of a plan for what we're gonna do when the emergency is over. Right now, the waiving of penalties and suspension of disconnect is in effect until June 30th. That, extending that past June 30th isn't before us today.
Right, we're not asking for that to be done today.
Right. I
Right.
mean, it's reasonable
Right
to
now-
assume that may happen. if
Yeah.
the- Yeah, but.
Yeah,
Right now, it's subject to going, being reinstated on June 30th, and that would be brought to you, again, to extend that if you chose to.
okay, that's gonna be that's gonna be brought, but what about if it would end tomorrow? Do these people still have 12 months to make payments? Or is that for the next batch?
Well, we don't really have a policy in place right now, and so if it ended tomorrow, I think we would have to bring something to you to
Okay.
figure out how we would
Okay,
have them pay. Because right now, and Nicole, maybe you can help, but right now, I think they could come in, they could sign a payment plan, and,
Typically, the payment plans that we do are just 2-week payment plans, and if you're
Right.
not paid in 2 weeks, then you're disconnected.
And they're under the
But this
disconnect.
is, I mean, we can't expect people to come in and pay 4 months of utility bills in 2 weeks.
right.
So, I mean, this
But
is
I was
just,
also thinking about the 12 months, which is due, a 12th of it is due like a month later. Is there a way to do it I mean, these businesses, if they're just gonna open,
well, this is the residential plan, correct? This isn't the business plan.
well, it is the residential. There are businesses that are on
Yep.
the shut-off list right now. They could participate in this. The next plan that we'll be bringing up, if they're on this list, they won't necessarily qualify for the other one. And so, there's a little bit of a lap over, but, I think you'll see once we talk about the next one, how that will
Okay.
relate.
okay.
But yeah, it would be, there's been some discussion of giving 18 months from the Department of Commerce.
Well,
so-
my thought was more, rather than splitting them up in 12 months, they're just getting going. They've got a lot of bills right now. If they can have lesser payments to start with and increase
Oh,
them, if
okay.
that
Sure.
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, we can look at that as well.
I mean, when they first get started, they're gonna have lots of bills.
And hopefully after a few months,
Right,
they'd have the ability to pay, yeah.
right.
Right.
Yeah, and I think the way the language is worded, I mean, it's saying that they would have to come in 30 days after the peacetime ended. So even if it ended tomorrow, proposed is written, it would be 30 days after that. Then, and in addition to that, we've already extended it to June 30th. So I think we're covered for you guys to proceed with creating a plan.
That's correct. If, that we're giving them that 30-day window to come in, get all the paperwork done, and then it would be, so yeah, you are correct. If it ended tomorrow, they would have 30 days, and technically probably another 15 because of the way the billing cycle would go. So,
Right. Okay. Well, I'll offer the motion to receive and order filed a proposed deferred payment plan for utility bills suspended for disconnection under the COVID-19 peacetime emergency.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Finland and second by Commissioner Shaunis. Any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, we can call the roll.
Commissioner Finland,
Yes.
Commissioner Hillesheim,
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis,
Yes.
Commissioner Visser,
Yes.
and Commissioner Heine.
Yes. Motion carried. The next item is to discuss a business utility deferment program.
yes, Commissioners, this is a little bit different. This, I don't want to say it's offered to people that aren't on the cutoff list, but it would kind of be aside from that. So knowing that businesses are have some financial hardship, We were asked to propose a program that would help businesses in the short term. It would allow them to open up and to kind of return back to their normal operations. So the program would be available to businesses that had been forced to close or reduce staff according to the specific executive order which was issued by Governor Walz. The business would be allowed to defer up to 3 consecutive months of utility bills with a bill date between the time period of March 1st, 2020 and August 31st, 2020. The customer would choose the 3 months to defer. However, if the customer has outstanding utilities that are unpaid, those would not be allowed and would reduce the amounts allowed under the program. And so what that basically means is that if you have a business that is 2 months in arrears, it wouldn't really make sense for them to apply on this program because, as you'll see a little bit later, there is a small interest rate associated with this. They would, if they've defaulted on their March and April bill already, they would get 12 months to be able to pay that off. So this would be for businesses that are current and maybe would choose to defer their May, June, July bill or their June, July, August bill. They need to be in consecutive months. And what would happen is they would need to then come in, complete an application, and at the end of the month of the last deferred utility bill, then the unpaid amounts would be spread evenly over the repayment term. Businesses could have an option. They could have a 6 or a 12-month repayment plan, and then interest on the payment plan would be calculated at a rate of 0.5%. So it's basically the cost of money for the utility. All of the business, again, would need to fill out an application, which would cite the executive order that relates to their business, identify the 3 months that they would like to defer, and then sign that payment agreement. Again, they would get an amortization schedule that would lay out their payment schedule based on the term that they've requested. And at the conclusion of the deferment period, then all non-payment policies would be in effect according to our regulations. If the commission feels that there's interest in this program, staff can continue to work to prepare an application, a payment agreement, and an amortization schedule to be given to the participating businesses. And we should be able to have something for sign up by the middle of June. As far as budgetary and fiscal issues, the utility does have reserves on hand. It will be hard to anticipate the impact of this, how many businesses potentially may sign up for it. So there is some risk with that. But it's an option out there for these struggling businesses. So if you have any discussion or changes or questions.
So businesses are already eligible under the previous plan that we approved, or no?
They are. What the previous plan is basically a way to figure out how to get people that are on the cutoff list to get their bills current. So in order for the previous plan, they have to be on the cutoff list. So that plan would only pertain to the 147 that currently are the cutoff list, and then any potential that came forward. This is more for businesses that are opening up or are still on a reduced schedule to free up some cash to buy inventory, to pay their employees, things like that.
Before going into default, in other words.
Before going into default.
I see. Okay, so that's the main difference.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, because if they're in default, they already are eligible for that other program. They already would qualify for a 12-month extension.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just a way to keep more cash in hand for them and pay their other bills and employees.
Correct.
Got it. Yep.
There are other
I think it's a
programs out there for small business, but it's just another tool in the toolbox, I guess.
Commissioner Hillesheim?
And you said it, Chris.
I'm sorry.
Pardon, sorry, the delay again. I was just going to echo, I mean, like Chris said, another tool in their toolbox. Any option I think we can give these businesses. I mean, yes, there are some programs that they're utilizing as well, but another way for them to keep cash, I think, is helpful and shows that we're trying to work with them and keep them in business here.
So, if there's any suggestions to this that you'd like to see, this is a pretty broad idea. If you would want to look at having a maximum amount, or if you don't like 3 months and you want 2, or you like 4, I guess these are just suggestions that came up while we were brainstorming. So if you guys have any other thoughts, certainly we're open to that.
Chris, it's a good point about whether we want to put a maximum on it. Obviously, there are some businesses in town that very significant bills don't very much have the wherewithal to pay. They could sign up for this program and have free money for a fair length of time.
Mm-hmm.
Not to necessarily say that they would, but I don't know that we would want to be funding, millions for a single customer.
Right, and this is not available to, our large industrial customers. Obviously, they may have been affected by the peacetime emergency, but they weren't necessarily in an executive order. And so this is going to be more your salons, your restaurants, your bars, your, the small businesses that had to actually close their doors. Retail.
Okay, so it will be very specific as to that are affected.
Yeah, they would have to actually be listed as an affected business in an executive order.
Okay. In that case, I don't think a maximum is needed.
Okay.
So I'll offer the motion to receive and order filed a proposed business utility deferment program available to businesses affected through executive order by the governor due to COVID-19.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Finland and a second by Commissioner Hillesheim. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we can call the roll.
Commissioner Finland,
Yes.
Commissioner Hillesheim,
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis,
Yes.
Commissioner Visser,
Yes.
and Commissioner Heine.
Yes. Motion carries. Next is to move on to a request from for a contribution to the New Ulm Partnership for a strategic plan for economic development.
Yes, the utility received a letter from the New Ulm Partnership, which is comprised of representatives from the New Ulm Area Chamber of Commerce, the New Ulm Economic Development Corporation, Independent School District 88, and the City of New Ulm. And they're requesting a contribution of $1,500 to help fund a strategic plan for economic development. The plan is intended to identify the roles and responsibilities of the economic development groups serving New Ulm, and also to determine the mission and vision goals, strategies, and then final actions for the economic development purposes. The cost of the plans can range between $15,000 and $50,000. The partnership has received a grant from the New Ulm Area Foundation, which will pay half of the cost of the amount, which is $7,500, as well as a contribution of $1,500 from the City Development Corporation and then the Chamber. The partnership is requesting a contribution of $1,500 from the New Ulm Public Utilities to help complete the plan.
we budgeted for this.
There, I was just looking at that. That is a typo. This is an
Okay.
unbudgeted expense. Yeah, we didn't know about it, so it would be. It's actually unbudgeted.
The city of New Ulm is also contributing, right? I assume since they're part of their group.
I don't know that I'm not sure if the city did contribute.
The city at this point still has to go in front of EDA for their contribution of $1,500.
Do you know when this New Ulm partnership was formed? I never heard of them.
Yeah, so I was trying to think historically, we used to contribute to the, yeah, EDC, which I'm trying to, go ahead, Commissioner Helleston.
Correct. Right. So you're exactly right. We've normally contributed to the NUADC, and so I'll abstain from this as I'm part of this committee. But we've been meeting now for quite a while. Different partners here between Chamber, NUADC, the city, the school district, trying to figure out the best way to work together and meet the needs of the committee and our community. And so this was one thing we came up with was, Chris Dalton has put together a nice packet for us too on ideas and things we can do, but we wanted to move forward here with this survey. And so we've gotten a nice grant from the New Ulm Area Foundation and are looking for, the Chamber's offering to kick in something in good faith too, and in support of this, the school district, and hoping that the PUC can also help get this kick started. I know it's little different times right now with everything that happened. We were really moving forward, and then we had a pause here with all this COVID stuff, but we're trying to get this back on the table and move forward because it's really what the community needs.
I'll offer the motion to approve or deny the contribution, yeah. No, I'll offer the motion to approve the contribution of $1,500 to the New Ulm Partnership for a Strategic Plan for Economic Development.
I'll second.
So a motion by Commissioner Finglin and second by Commissioner Visser to approve contribution of $1,500 to the New Ulm Partnership for a Strategic Plan for Economic Development. Any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, we can call the roll.
Commissioner Finland?
Yes.
Commissioner Hilleshine? Oh, you're abstaining.
I'll abstain.
Commissioner Shaunis?
Yes.
Commissioner Visser?
Yes.
And Commissioner Heine?
Yes. Motion carries. Next item is the technology work plan proposal.
Good afternoon. This proposal is to get a technology work plan done by Power Systems Engineering, PSE. We were planning on going directly to looking at asset management, as you can see in the text, but we've found with several vendors making several interesting claims on what they can do that maybe we need to look at some of our software in-house to serve our needs first before we go making a very expensive misstep. The price tags on going directly to asset management were healthy, to say the least. And talking to several vendors, they would keep referring to some of the things we would be able to do with our current Esri, and we do not fully know the capabilities of maybe Mainstar and our Encode and what they could all do working together. And the idea here is to do an assessment, interview our departments on what our needs actually are by somebody that works with, I know PSC has 4 offices and they work in I think 8 or 9 states. They work with lots of different utilities and see how others are doing it, rather than just listening to the vendors on what the people we have come in-house trying to sell us something. And as you can see, they got basically 4 bullet points. We've narrowed this down to is they're going to first interview the staff, see what we want and what we need for reporting and things, review our current software, then possibly they're gonna develop a high-level plan for what we need and maybe add something to our capital budget in the future, but that's yet to be determined. So with that, if there's any questions, I can,
It looks like we had it budgeted already for this year as well. Is that correct?
it was budgeted as asset management,
Okay.
and it was more of a review of asset management at that budget, so we're just broadening the definition a little bit.
Yeah, I
Make sure
think
we're
a
making the right
lot of
step.
a lot of what we would be doing, if we were to just go to hire someone to do asset management, is exactly this. We need to identify what our needs are, what our department heads want to get out of the system, and whether, one asset management program is going to work for all of the departments, because they all have different needs. We have a power plant that has way different needs than maybe our electric distribution department does. And so this program is, or this plan is going to just basically take a look at all of the systems that we have in place right now, identify what those systems can do, and then where the holes are. And then we'll be able then to take software and drop those in the holes so that we get a system that will work and talk to each other. So.
No, I'll make a motion to authorize the city manager to accept and sign the proposal for a technology work plan submitted by Power Systems Engineering Incorporated, PSE, in the amount of $12,000.
Second.
We have a motion and second, motion by Commissioner Visser, second by Commissioner Shaunis on the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, we can call the roll.
Commissioner Fingland,
Yes.
Commissioner Hillesheim,
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis,
Yes.
Commissioner Visser,
Yes.
and Commissioner Heine.
Yes, motion carries. Next is to consider a market analysis of energy and capacity markets.
Okay, a little background here. On January 1, 2010, the New Ulm Public Utilities entered a contract with Heartland Consumer Power Districts, who are located in Madison, South Dakota. This contract provided up to 18 megawatts of block energy and capacity to the New Ulm Public Utilities. The contract term is January 1, 2010 to December 31, 2029. So we are 10 years into the contract with another 10 years to go. This contract has a 5-year termination clause, so somewhere around 2024, 25, we'll be looking at what we want to do in the future with our energy contract. Well, recently, Heartland was able to participate in the repowering of the Westington Springs wind farm. We are currently buying wind energy from that wind farm. By the repowering, they have been able to realize a savings on that wind supply. So Heartland approached New Ulm, offering that the utility could share in the savings that are being received if we would consider extending the contract for an additional 10 years. So they're asking us to go out to 2040. So at this point in the contract discussions, a savings of approximately $500,000 a year for the remainder of the initial contract, which is to 2029, is being offered with the commitment that New Ulm would extend the contract to 2040. There is an expectation from Heartland that there could be a potential 16% reduction in the W2 energy rate in year 2030. So because this is going out so far and that we aren't necessarily at the termination time of the contract, we would like to get an understanding of the opportunity costs that we could potentially be forfeiting by extending that contract 10 years from the termination date. So we believe that it would be in the best interest of ratepayers to obtain a market analysis of the energy and capacity market from people that that do this every day. And so we are requesting that the commission authorize us to receive proposals to conduct the market analysis.
And it's fair to probably comment that this long-term contract that was made many years ago hasn't always been popular. So you're saying, let's take an extra step this time, that maybe we have an opportunity that wasn't available, I don't know, what is it, 10, 15 years ago?
Correct. Yeah, there's so many changes coming into the energy markets with solar and wind and battery storage. I think it would just be prudent to, go out and see what's out there and what's available.
Chris, do you have an estimate of what the market analysis will cost us?
No, I don't. And I think we'll have, we certainly will bring this back to you for authorization. But we haven't ever done one, and so I'm not exactly sure what the cost of something like that will be. But the commission will have the authority to, to accept it.
Today, you're only asking us to authorize you to request
To go out.
proposals to do this.
Yes.
Right.
And I think it needs to be a step. Heartland is looking to finalize the contract. They're anxious to get that done, and I think that if the commission agrees, this would be our response to them, that we would need to take some time. What I want you to understand is the $500,000 they're offering us, I don't know if there is a sunset on that at this point, but they're only offering it if we extend. So there is the potential that it might not be there.
Sure. I'm sure they'll let you know.
Is there a
Okay, well,
cost?
I'll offer the motion to authorize staff to request proposals to obtain a market analysis of the energy and capacity markets for the next 20 years.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Finland and a second by Commissioner Visser to authorize staff to request proposals. And Commissioner Shaughnessy, you had a comment?
Is there a cost to get a market analysis?
Yeah, there will be a cost. At this point, I'm not sure what that's going to be. We haven't necessarily had the opportunity to go out and kind of, we have to find someone that's going to do it for us yet too. I would imagine, I'm not exactly sure, I guess, until I can get some quotes from different companies, but we'll bring that back.
Any other discussion on the motion? Okay, we have a motion to authorize staff to request proposals to obtain a market analysis of the energy and capacity markets for the next 20 years. We can go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Finland,
Yes.
Commissioner Hillesheim,
Yes.
Commissioner Shaughnessy,
Yes.
Commissioner Visser,
Yes.
and Commissioner Heine.
Yes. Motion carries. The final item on our agenda is to consider the list of claims paid and approve list of claims to be paid.
Yeah, I'll offer a motion to accept the list of claims paid in the amount of $2,154,455.05 and approve the list of claims to be paid in the amount of $475,453.38.
Second.
I think you said. So your motion was to approve the list of claims to be paid in the amount of $475,453.38. Yeah, I think you said thousands. Okay. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we can call the roll.
Commissioner Finland,
Yes.
Commissioner Hillesheim,
Yes.
Commissioner Shaughnessy,
Yes.
Commissioner Visser,
Yes.
and Commissioner Heine.
Yes, motion carries. Does anybody have any other comments today? If not, we are adjourned. Thank you.